Tour from 1950 to 1953 with a great group of men from all over our country. More than a third of my service time was spent in Korea. My journey from Camp Lejeune over the northern route to San Diego, and then either with train and or bus, and then leaving from San Diego, I ended up in Japan, from a ship, of course. From Japan, they almost immediately took me to Seoul, Korea. From Seoul, Korea, I started my long journey through the country, and by 2 or 3 weeks later, I was up near the Yalu River, which separates Korea from China. It was the quickest trip I've ever taken on any place. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
We landed near Seoul, Korea, and as I said, by trucks and buses we went to the border between Korea and China near the Yalu River. Whoops. My discussion today is about another event in my service to our country. It is about the discharge of an atomic bomb at Yucca Flats, Nevada, which I was also at. The destination of being the most bombed place in the world is Yucca Flats, Nevada. The event took place on May 1st, 1952. We had walked through the area where the bomb was to go off the previous day. The bomb was at the top of a 100-foot steel tower. Animals of all sorts were in fenced areas around the base. Sheep, goats, rabbits, just about everything you could think of that we knew were going to be tested after that blast at some time. Let me see. While we were there were trenches everywhere. The trenches were about 4 feet deep by 3 feet wide. And I'm speaking about the fact that there had to be thousands of men from all of the different services there at the same time, plus people from foreign countries were also there. Once we got towards the trenches that were there, we were told to kneel down and cover our eyes. Well, I knelt down and covered my eyes, but when the blast went off, I looked at the walls of what I thought were pure gold. You could look right through your eyelids. The following day, we walked through the bombed area. Most of all the houses that were there, because this was set up as a village, if you will, with everything in it. Houses, cars, trucks, things that kids would have to play on outside, swings, and they were looking to see what was going to happen to just about everything. And luckily, and in some cases, even though trucks and cars were destroyed, not wholly. I think that surprised them somewhat, but again, the size of the bomb, I never knew what it was, but it must have been a beauty. None of the animals died, which was a factor that I'm sure they were looking to see and perhaps wondering why they didn't. But all of the sheep and goats and small animals were blind. The tower was missing, of course. It was a 100-foot steel tower. The base was even disappeared. I believe our country, and hopefully the rest of the world, is grateful that this awesome weapon has not been used again. That's the extent of my discussion. If anybody wants to ask questions about any facet that they were expecting to hear, please just come up and talk with me.